Welcome to the BlackHat special edition of CyberBytes the podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Cooper, co-founder of Aspiron Search. I got to sit down with Travis Stanfield, CEO and co-founder at Stacklet. Stacklet has just come onto my radar after a recent introduction from the team at Foundation Capital, and with both co-founders coming from Capital One, they have an awesome story, and what they're doing with their governance as code solution is really game changer.
Introducing Travis Stanfield, CEO and co-founder of Stacklet.
Pleasure to be here.
How are you, mate?
I'm doing great.
Good stuff.
Nice to be at BlackHat.
Yeah. Kentucky, you flew in from?
Yes, just outside of Lexington, Kentucky is where I'm based.
What's the damage on the flight here from there?
It wasn't bad in terms of duration, maybe 5 hours.
Oh, that's
and
not
I had
too
a
bad.
direct flight.
Nice.
So
yeah.
nice.
Good to be back.
Yeah, very good. Always exciting to be here. The energy, the intensity, the pace of innovation, all of the things are very exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. So you was introduced to me by Sid.
Sure. Sid Trivedi.
Yeah, that's it, from Foundation Capital. So how did you guys know?
Sid Trivedi was our seed investor and has been a tremendous partner to us throughout the entire journey, the startup journey that we've been on. So, and we got networked to him through mutual colleagues and other co-founders.
Great. Awesome. Well, before we get into Stacklet, we, with all my guests, go right back. Well, not right back, but just a quick introduction of where it all began for you and how you got into the industry and the field.
Sure. In terms of how I got into the industry, boy, that started a long time ago. I, was very interested in terms of tinkering with computers as a young kid. At the risk of dating myself, I go back to like the old Commodore 64 days, and certainly, as the video game consoles, the Ataris and the Nintendos came out, I was tinkering with those a lot, very much into electronics and those sorts of things. As I progressed in my studies, I, chose computer science as an undergraduate program, wanted to get more into programming, have been a developer for a very long time, and have progressed certainly through different aspects of my career and different opportunities. And yeah, love it.
Yeah, no, great. So before launching, where was you working prior?
My co-founder and I come from Capital One.
Okay.
And if you're familiar with Capital One's story in terms of public cloud, it is a top 10 U.S. financial institution that is 100% in the public cloud these days. It's certainly been prominent for that journey in the media, and certainly with AWS as a partner. So we had a front row seat to kind of watch a large, heavily regulated institution transform itself around public cloud. And certainly that's the basis for what our startup is about. Some of the lessons learned and applying that and some of that technology to others. The late majority is kind of showing up to cloud these days and facing some of the same challenges that we saw firsthand at Capital One, and that's a big part of what we're about.
Nice. What's your co-founder's name?
And my co-founder is Kapil Thangavalan.
Okay.
So he is the creator and lead maintainer of an open source project called Cloud Custodian. So Cloud Custodian's roots are intertwined with Capital One's journey. Essentially what it is a policy as code or a governance as code solution, right? So especially for an institution, as mentioned, like that has heavy bars, or I should say high bars, with regards to regulation, needing to manage cost, all of the things that all organizations need, right? The way to accelerate that is to do so through code, right? And as opposed to, let's say, documents, or let's say endless meetings, or those types of things. Really making sure that can be codified, automated, and then allow the overall organization, the developers who want to use more cloud to be more productive, but also do so in a way that's safe, right? You can't go fast if you're not also secure, right? We use the analogy like the developers are the race cars. They want to get, as quickly around the track as possible. We're the guardrails, right? And you need that to be automated. And that's essentially what our solution is all about.
Yeah. Let's dive a little bit more into the product. So what specifically, if you could give like a bit of an overview for the audience.
Sure. Yeah. So we have this governance as code solution, again, based on the open source project Cloud Custodian. What we do with Stacklet is give the managed accelerated experience to get the most value out of this very powerful engine in a way that's as operationally efficient, reduces the operational overhead, the operational risk, right? You just get the managed experience, you get to the value quickly. It allows us to be stateful and opinionated. That unlocks advanced features like asset inventory. We allow a right level of collaboration within the organization. We meet developers where they live in terms of making them more aware of the policies that need to be enforced, the best practices that need to be enforced. And we also allow the automation of those, right? So this can prevent problems. This can remediate problems. This is the kind of thing that once you hit a certain level of scale in the cloud, you absolutely need the automation, right? And we also unlock rich insights, right? Because of being the core and creative team around the open source, we know how to not just get information from it, but also give you context, calls to action, the ways to really go, let's say, manage the cloud in the right way, reduce all of the risks, all of the costs, accelerate the productivity that comes with that. All of that is possible with our solutions.
You got any sort of use cases or case studies that you
Sure.
be happy to share?
Yeah, there's one. There are a couple on our website. Certainly, one and that's also we're seeing a lot of these days is cost optimization. So the case study on the website is about Avalara. Right, they are themselves a SaaS provider, a technology company. They've got a notable cloud footprint. They also, because of the financial aspects, they also have a level of corporate compliance that they need to adhere to. And certainly they were growing their business, right? And also that was accelerating in terms of public cloud adoption, right? And also facing the same types of things that a lot of organizations are, right? Managing and reducing the cost and risk on that journey. So what they were able to do was, through our solution, immediately get some ROI. It was like 500% ROI very quickly, right? And then also continue to get that value over time, right? What they are able to do now is get their entire organization to lean into the governance objectives that they have, right? So everybody's familiar with the cost opportunities and are participating in that. Not just, hey, we got a report, we're spending too much money, but we don't have time to deal with that. It's we can actually, just like what all developers do, burn this down, sprint over sprint in a way like exercise, right? You do a little bit of it at a time, and it becomes easier and easier. You get better and better at it. The whole organization culture changes around that, and it becomes very powerful when you get everybody to participate in governance.
How useful was being a previous practitioner and having this problem at Capital One? Like, how's that helped with founding Stacklet?
Well, it gives us deep empathy for our customers, right? We walked in their shoes, and we understand what they face on a daily basis, and we understand that they are today in a false choice of going fast and taking risk, right? And you don't need to choose between those two. That's what we're about. Go fast, but not in a way that's risky, costly, right? In an unnecessary way, right? You want to be able to optimize the business, right? And continue to grow, right? Continue to realize the value of cloud, all of the innovations that are happening there, right? And not, let's say, restrict it or prohibit it or anything along those lines.
Yeah, got it. In such a crowded market with cyberspace and various tools and new startups coming up, what is the value proposition for you guys? How would you position it for?
Sure. Yeah. I mean, it's really about that automation, doing something about cloud, right? Not just report that's important. You need, and we do that as well. We give, visualizations and insights and that sort of thing. But now what are you going to do about it, right? And when you do that, and you do that within the organization, you need to do what's right for the organization. And that's in part through the platform and the codified experience, right? We can get folks jump started and towards that, right? The actual remediation, the workflows, the exception management, and then also the prevention, right? The never again kind of use cases that you can mature out of as an organization. And why that's different is we find a lot of, let's say, folks in the adjacent spaces or in the ecosystem that don't want to do the hard thing, right? The automation can be difficult. Those workflows can be difficult, right? And giving folks the power to do that and do it in a way that when you get it right, it will pay those many X multiples in terms of the ROI. That's what we focus on, and that's why we're different.
Yeah, awesome. How big are you guys now?
We are about 25,
nice.
Right? And, still relatively early in our journey, right? We've been very focused on the product, on the customers, just making sure that we are getting all of that right, and certainly very passionate and excited about the progress thus far.
What sort of skills and attributes do you look for when you are hiring for staff?
For staff, I mean, certainly we've got, very specific culture that we want to make sure folks are fit around, right? It's a lot of the types of values that we have are things like, hey, we want to move fast, right? We do want to, be risk taking. We also want to do that in a way that's collaborative, communicative. Certainly, we're passionate about problem solving, right? Making sure again that we're not putting off the difficult things, that we're addressing those. Certainly, both my co-founder and I, we, come from builder and tinkerer backgrounds, right? Having that level of intellectual curiosity is very important to us. A lot of things like that.
Yeah, nice. So the only reason I asked that is because having met you, I can imagine that there is a really pleasant culture in the business.
Yeah, we like to think so.
Yeah, nice. What's the future for you guys?
Future, so certainly continue to grow the business, delight customers, right? Really, we feel like what we're doing is transformative in terms of, again, getting folks to the value of cloud and fully realizing that without, the collateral type stuff around, am I taking too much risk or am I spending too much to do that, right? So as that continues, we're sparking the innovations that all of our other customers are able to accelerate, and we just are really excited about all that stuff. We certainly have, some new things coming in terms of product announcements, but I'll be a little bit
fire on those. Yeah. When are we looking at? When should people keep an ear to the ground to hear about those?
We're constantly, right? We'll be doing some things within the next few months, and I'm just really excited about a lot of the stuff we got coming.
Amazing. You're a first-time founder, right?
I've worked at a few startups before, but first time as a founder sitting in the big chair.
What advice would you have given?
Oh man, we were very fortunate, both my co-founder and I. I mean, fortunate to have a great co-founder like what I have. Fortunate to have a great partner like Sid. Several of our other early investors have also been very good to us. I really got a lot of great advisors that was very valuable to us at early stages, right, that had been through it before. And those are the kind of things that, in addition to being very appreciative of, like, certainly would love to pay forward and continue that, because I think that's the best way to truly give back is to actually pay forward. So.
Awesome. Travis, thanks for coming on the show, my man.
You're welcome.
Absolute pleasure, and I wish you all the best of success.
My pleasure. Yeah.
Thank you for listening. If you've enjoyed today's show, please like and share with your friends and colleagues, as this is really important for the show's reach. If you'd like to be our next guest or are interested in Aspiron Search's staffing solutions, please get in touch directly with me or reach out to us via our website www.aspironsearch.com.